extroverts, and both. Yes.
Do you guys do gatherings or anything?
Za mazishi unakuta watu.
I'll be talking about change today, like I said before.
Hapa ni Revival TV na hii ni pale Couple Story. Ndio kuangalia kwenye TV yetu.
To Revival TV, Grand Rapids, Michigan. Democratic and Republican. Hello, my friends. My name is Espoir Razi. I want to say thank you for having another opportunity to come to you. My show is called The Connection. For those who are following us on YouTube, Facebook, we welcome you. We bring you great connections on what is going on in Grand Rapids, Michigan, in our community. And we thank God to have this opportunity to come to you today. Today we have a special guest with me today, which will have time for her to introduce herself. But I want to say first, Happy New Year to everybody that is all over the world. I know the New Year's is already passed, but I'm going to keep saying it. And happy February. In today's connection, we have a special guest. This special guest comes with so much intelligent. She's part of an organization that is happening here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, which I am part of, and it is amazing an organization. And I don't want myself to introduce her, but I want herself to introduce herself. So please give warm welcome to our guest. Go ahead.
Hi, Espoir.
How are you?
Good.
So tell me, what's your name and what brings you here today, and who are you?
All right, I'm Deb Van Dynen, and I'm a member at Oakdale Park Church. I've been living in Grand Rapids, Michigan all my life, my husband as well. And we're members at Oakdale. I've been a teacher for 40 years, recently retired, and now I'm a member and organizer with Together West Michigan.
All right. Did you hear that word, guys? She's an organizer of Together West Michigan. We're going to get into that. What is Together West Michigan? But I first want to say that I want to say to the soccer that is happening in Africa, that Congo is the soccer team, that Congolese are advancing to the semifinals. We need to give them a shout out. Congo, you guys can do it, and I know you guys will win that cup. We believe in you guys. So we really, really are happy that our nation in Congo, they're doing some amazing thing over there in Africa. And also I want to say that today, right here at Restoration Community Church, we're having some part of the police department coming here and teaching people what about the laws of police, what do you need to do when you get pulled over by a police officer. And they're going to be here today at 2 o'clock, so you don't want to miss it. If you're in Grand Rapids area, please, we invite you to come to this event where the police officers and people are going to be translating also into English. So, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to talk to my good sister here, and we're going to have some conversations. And if you have any questions, please, you can comment below, and we'll do our best to ask her those questions, even if you have questions from me. All right, let's get into it. Now, you're part of Together West Michigan, based on my understanding. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you usually from? Or where did you come from?
Well, I was born and raised here in Southeast Grand Rapids.
Okay.
Went to school here and college. Met my husband here in Grand Rapids and raised our kids here. So we've been rooted in this community for a long time. And I've been working in a nearby community as a teacher, English language arts, for about 40 years to junior high students.
Was it something that you loved doing, being a teacher?
Oh, I loved it. It was a great career. I love reading and writing, and I love working with kids. And it was just a fun and rewarding career.
Was it your first choice to get into it?
Yes, it was, although it was not my first choice to teach junior high. But that is just the door that God opened for me, and it turned out to be the right thing for me.
You said you love being a teacher. What motivated you to be a teacher? Can you tell me a little bit about the motivation?
I've always worked with kids. Even as a young child, I did a lot of babysitting and taking care of kids. And I liked being in school. Love reading and writing and learning new things. So that was just a really good fit for me.
What would you say to someone that is looking into teaching and they want to be involved into teaching? What would your recommendation be?
I think I would try and volunteer in a different ways. Make sure that you're working with kids so that you can see if it's something that you enjoy doing first. And then look for a good school and college that has a good teacher education program.
Is it easy to being a teacher, would you say?
It is not. A lot of people think that it's great being a teacher. You have your summers off and vacations and snow days once in a while. But there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. You spend a lot of time planning lessons, working on curriculum, working with other teachers, constantly learning new things, and dealing with parents. There's a lot you have to do at home and during those vacations if you want to keep improving as a teacher.
Did you play any sports when you were growing up?
I didn't. I'm not really terribly athletic, but I love sports. I like to watch. I like to participate, but I never was on a team.
Now, your parents, you mentioned your parents. They were, I believe they were a Christian, faith-believing parents.
Yes.
Tell me about your bringing up of that, the skills that made you who you are, that made your parents support this great mind and to get you into college and stuff. Can you share a little bit about that?
Well, my parents were not college people. They went into their careers learning on the job, but they valued education. They were Christian parents. They made lots of sacrifices to make sure that my sister and brother and myself had a Christian education. So I saw that sacrifice in their lives, and that was important to me.
What would you advise the parents today? Because there's a lot of parents who don't know. Sometimes they have to choose between school or putting food on the table. And a lot of them, they don't know what to do in that scenario. I know you grew up, your parents sacrificed a lot.
Right.
What would you give advice, to those parents who are in that stage, choosing between this and that? What would be your best advice would you give them?
Well, there are a lot of options for parents today. There are charter schools, there are public schools, there are private Christian schools, there's homeschooling. So the options are different now than they were for my parents. But I think it's important to think about what you value. And the needs of your kids and talk to other parents about the experiences they have with school, and then decide what's best for you and your family. And sometimes you do have to make sacrifices to do what's best.
Do you have two kids?
I do. I have 2 grown children and 2 grandchildren.
And what career do they pursue, if I may ask?
Our daughter is in the medical field, managing a medical office. And our son is living in Mexico City, teaching English to adults.
Teaching English to adults.
That's correct, yeah.
Wow. In what country is this? Or
Mexico.
Mexico. Wow. So did they come and go back and forth?
He comes home for a visit a couple times a year, yeah.
Is that was some type of ministry that God called them to do, or was it something what made them passionate to do when they came to you, Mom, I want to try this? How did that conversation?
I think it was something that just sort of happened for him. He went to a 4-year college, and after he graduated, he had a major in Spanish. And he got a job working in a hospital doing translation, but he found that to be kind of difficult because of the emotional burden that many people had. So he changed and started thinking about maybe teaching English, and then he just kind of went abroad for a while, and it happened.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've been following us. I'm asking some really good questions to our sister here, and she's very, very intelligent. Now, correct me, how do people pronounce your name? Because I feel like your name has a lot of, that some people may say, oh, is it Dan, Dane? How?
My first name?
Yeah, your first name.
My first name is Deb, D-E-B.
Okay.
But that is a nickname for Deborah.
Deborah.
Yeah.
So your name is Deborah.
Correct.
Deborah, Miss Deborah.
Yes.
I like that. I really do like that. Because even for me, the first time we met, I believe that I had trouble to figure out your name.
I can understand that.
or Deborah.
Yeah.
But man, in the Bible, Deborah was a very courageous woman.
She was.
She was very, very, very courageous. Yeah. Now I wanna talk about you've been in school. You're a school teacher, teaching English, and you've done so much. Now let's go and talk about Together West Michigan. I heard you said something about that. Who came to you and about Together West Michigan, and what made you get into it? Like, tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. A lot of my story is about things that just happened, like God opened a door, and that's how I got into Together West Michigan. I had been doing volunteer work in my church for many years, tutoring and mentoring kids. And as I was nearing retirement, I started working in other community organizations. And one night there was a big gathering at our church, and they were talking about different problems in the community. And our church neighborhood had gone through a bad summer of violence, and there had been some shootings. And so I had concerns about our neighborhood, and I just went to this event to hear what people were going to say. And as they were talking about this organization, it just sounded really good to me. And so I just walked through the door that God opened and became involved.
Now, it sounded good to you, in what way? Did it a stir, a burning passion that you wanted to do something, or was it because a lot of people can say, "Wow, this sounds good,"
Right.
but it just stops there. But for you, what steps did you start taking to say, you know what, this sounds really good. I want to know more information. What
Right.
steps were there?
Well, prior to that, I had been volunteering as a board member for a neighborhood nonprofit organization. And that organization worked hard and tried to do some really good things, but it just felt like things didn't change. And there are a lot of community organizations that are doing good work, but they're trying to do the same things and not working together and not accomplishing much. And when I heard about this group, a little background. Together West Michigan is an organization of about 18 different organizations, many churches, some nonprofits, and they work together to bring positive change to the community. And we started by listening to people. In 2022, we held small group meetings of about 8 to 10 people and asked them, what are the concerns that are on your heart? What do you care about? What are the issues that are impacting your life? And we talked to about 1,300 people. And after gathering that information, we found that there are 5 areas that people had concerns: mental health services, housing, child care, neighborhood safety, and refugee and immigrant well-being. And so committees were formed, groups were organized around those issues. But what I liked, what appealed to me about this approach is that it starts with what people care about, the people. And it brings together communities and organizations and resources that all work towards solving those problems.
Okay. So these type of problems, was it that fire that started on you to go ahead and, you know what, I want to be part of this? Or did you go home and talk to your husband? Did you pray about it? How did that come?
At that first meeting that I went to, when they were describing the process, they were just asking people if they would be willing to host a house meeting. And I thought, I can do that. I can host a couple of meetings. That's not difficult. And it was my intention to just meet with a couple of small groups. But it led from one group to another, and I kept meeting people and getting interested in their stories and excited about the way that we could work together. So I think it just kind of evolved.
Okay. Revival TV, I thank you so much for continuing to listen. If you're hearing noise background, it's because there's some choir that is happening in our next section. So please bear with us, but it's actually good music. So
It is.
We'll continue with our segment. I also want to ask something. When you got informed about Together West Michigan, did you go to Allison? Matter of fact, Allison was the one who came to you and said, was she the first organizer, or did she come?
I met Allison a little bit later. Our church joined Together West Michigan, and I kind of worked through our church. And then one day Allison called and asked if we could have a one-to-one meeting and get to know each other a little better. So it's that, and that's a key part of Together West Michigan, is building relationships. And that,
and building relationship with that.
yes.
So who was the leader before that?
Well, the first, I really don't know.
Okay. All right. No problem.
We
No
had,
problem.
we're part of a national organization called IAF. And their lead organizer did some training with our group.
Okay. All right. So now I want to get into these organizations that are part with Together West Michigan. Do you know them off the top of your head who are organized into Together West Michigan?
Many churches.
Many churches.
Our church, Oakdale Park, your church, Restoration Community Church. Quite a few around Southeast Grand Rapids.
Quite a few. Okay.
Yes.
Now, why did you decide to bring a lot of churches? Why did you see in churches that could be also part of Together West Michigan? What was that thing?
I think churches, by their nature, are concerned about society and social justice, and God calls us to be his hands and feet in the community. So it fits really well with the mission of a church to be involved in the work of a neighborhood.
Okay. So when they came, when all these, so you're seeing all these churches because it's helping the vision going through to like what is Together West Michigan. Like, are we coming together? I'm trying to understand churches and all these nonprofit organizations, why they're with Together West Michigan. Because a lot of people may say, okay, why won't they just start up something else instead of, because I'm trying to get our audience to understand what is Together West Michigan and why it's important that we include churches and other nonprofit organizations. So when you talk about bringing churches in, because there are more, like, what are you trying to find in that, if it makes any sense?
I wouldn't say that it's just churches.
Okay.
Any group that's interested in this kind of work can join Together West Michigan. It's not a religious organization.
Oh, okay.
It just happens that many of the groups that are part of it are churches.
It's okay. It just happened. Many of you.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So what things do Together West Michigan do? Like, what are those things that they do?
Well, as I mentioned, the idea is to find out what are the concerns of the people in the community and work towards changing things for the better. So I'm on the Immigrant and Refugee Wellbeing Committee.
Oh, okay.
So that's the one that I know the most about.
Okay.
And in the past year, we know that some of the issues in that community are things like being able to get your driver's license, finding a job, learning how to navigate through the social systems of the community. And a lot of that is related to language access.
Language access.
Right. And we started working based on some of their concerns. We started reaching out to the Secretary of State here in Michigan. And they were very interested in working with us because they understood the problems that people have when they don't speak English. So in working together with them, we were able to bring The written portion of the driver's test has now been translated into Swahili. It had been available in Spanish, but now it's Swahili as well. There are systems in place to provide translation services by phone or by another handheld device. We've had some mobile events where they bring their office materials to our location, and then we have translators available to help people with their transactions with the Secretary of State. That's one example of some things that we've been able to work on. There's also been a group in the community who was interested in gardening, and we were able to help them get some land, and they were able to do some of their own community gardens so the people could grow foods that were more familiar to them and the ways that they like to cook. We had a meeting this morning where we're talking about starting to address some of those issues with employment. What do you do if you lose your job? And also just starting a conversation with some of the employment agencies and trying to figure out how to navigate that. But we've also worked on other committees. We have a child care committee that's working really hard on the child care crisis here in Kent County. We've had some success with the housing committee, working with the Kent County commissioners on making sure that some of the funding for housing goes towards home ownership and not just rental. We've worked with state legislators to set up scholarships for people who are interested in going into the mental health field so that we can have more mental health care workers. So it's a variety of projects. Yeah.
Revival TV people, I hope you guys are excited to see what is going on right here. I'm happy and I'm having a good time to just having this conversation. I just want you to let you know that, Together West Michigan, as you've heard, it's a family. Based on what I'm understanding, it's a family. We're trying to tackle the issues that are happening in our community, in our nation, because we want to be heard. And that's why Together West Michigan also exists. They care about you, about your well-being, and they care about that your voice is being heard. So many times we go into a room or we come to a city or a state that you may have a voice, but you may be let down, or you may not say, oh, you can't talk about that here. But what Together West Michigan brings is that platform where, no, you are also important. That's why they go around churches and they go around another nonprofit organization where they say, what do you guys need? Can we talk about these issues? And can we take it to the highest courts? Because they want what's best for you and your family. What do we get in it? To see you happy, to see you that your voice was met. Your family will be taken care of. That's what Together West Michigan is all about. We have some few more questions when we come back from our small break, but I want you guys to think about that. What do you need in your community that Together West Michigan can give you? As you've heard my sister here, we focus on housing, childcare. We're going to get into those a little bit when we come back after break. I have some few questions. This is Espoir Razi, and I thank you. We'll be right back right after this.
Aliye na nguvu nyingi, aliye na uwezo mwingi. aliyekufa msalabani kwa ajili yangu. Ameniokoa, amenipa amani, sijui nani wa kulinganisha, ambaye anaweza kufanya mambo ambayo Yesu anatenda. Yeah, no, no. Amenipa furaha, amenipa amani, yeah. Amenipa na uzima wake wa milele. Ndani ya Yesu, nimepata uzima.
Heri asomaye neno la Bwana, naye ayasikiaye maneno ya unabii huu, na kuyashinda yaliyoandikwa. Kwa maana wakati karibu. Tazama yuaja mawinguni, na kila jicho litamwona, na kila ulimi utakiri kwamba ndiye Bwana, na kila kabila litasujudu na kukiri mbele zake. Mtafute Yesu, angali apatikana. Mtafute, wakati ndio ndugu yangu. Atakupa furaha, atakupa amani, atakupa na uzima wake wa milele. Ndani ya Yesu na furaha, ukimtafuta Yesu kweli kweli. Mtafute kweli, na 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 na, anapatikana kweli 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 kweli, anapatikana.
Thank you for coming back, and thank you for the music video. That music video says Mtafute Yesu atapatikana, means find Jesus and he will be found.
Love it.
Yes, it's a very, very beautiful music. I love it. Thank you for coming back. We were talking to Deborah here, and we were having a conversation about Together West Michigan. I want to go back about childcare, and also I want to talk about what we're doing here and how just a little bit about housing. I know that is not your department, but let's start first with the childcare. Why is childcare so important with Together West Michigan? Because it's something that we here in the community that we're pressing on. Why are we trying to get this I guess you want to call it our big voice or our big demand
Sure.
with childcare?
In Kent County, there are, I think, about 20,000 children who need care, who need child care, and there just aren't spots for them. So that means their parents can't go to work. We have a lot of parents who want to work, but they're struggling with that decision. If I go to work and I have to take all of that money to pay for child care, what's the point? There's no financial benefit to them as a family. And there are huge waiting lists because our providers are struggling, and many of them are closing their doors or shutting down their businesses because it's too expensive to run a child care and try and support parents by being affordable. So there's just a crisis. And it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Are parents not going to work because they can't afford child care? Or are there not enough spaces because there are people who can't work in that field? So it's really hard to figure out why this is such a problem.
So what the child care, what Together West Michigan, if I'm understanding correctly, is you see there's a problem about, you said about 20,000 kids,
Children,
babies
babies.
who don't have care or anybody to take care of them because parents, they don't have a place to take them,
Right.
or how is that? Is it well, isn't there like cares that are out there, baby daycare and stuff like that?
There are daycares, but they are at their maximum limit.
What does that mean?
Well, if you're running a daycare in your home, there are only a certain number of children that you can have and a certain number of infants that you can have, and that's the same if you're running a child care center as a business. You have to have a certain ratio of caregivers to kids. You can't just bring in as many as you want, because then you can't give them adequate care.
Now, is it affordable?
No. Costs today, ever since COVID, we've had a supply shortage problem, and we all know that costs are rising. If you're providing child care, you have to provide meals for those kids, and there are supplies and toys, and many of our child care providers want to provide good, solid curriculum for these kids. All of that costs money, and as costs go up, many of our providers are actually losing money.
So, what is Together West Michigan is trying to do when it comes to child care? What are, based on other things that you're saying, money, work, and it's expensive, and there's the child daycare is over max. Where does West Michigan come in that?
We have first gathered a lot of information, talking to a lot of people and going to different agencies that provide child care, government agencies that oversee child care. We learn as much as we can about the problem. That's how we know there are so many kids whose parents would go out to work but they either can't afford it or there aren't spaces. So our job right now is to talk to our county commissioners. There is a millage currently called Ready by 5, and there are things in place there for 3-year-olds through 5-year-olds to try and support those kids. But right now there isn't anything for the younger kids. So what we'd like to see is that millage be renewed with the upcoming election and expanded so that there could possibly be more money to support our providers by training or maybe some subsidies of some kind, so that we can have more providers to provide more spaces.
So, if I'm understanding correct, you guys are talking to the city commissioner.
County commissioners.
County commissioner, sorry.
Yes.
County commissioner to have more money go into the child care department.
Yes.
System. Now, when you talk about child care, that has many categories. Are you talking about funding like those who work at home or those daycare that is overmax? Where is the money going in this?
Well, I don't know the details about where the money is going right now. There is this millage, and some of it has gone towards things like providing car seats or informing parents about lead-based paint that might cause a learning disability in their children. But we'd like to see some money go into infant care, and that could take a lot of forms. It could be to help parents be able to afford child care, or to provide training for more child care providers.
Okay, so provide more. Okay. So what about the ones who already have child care? You said that they get also benefit in that too, where it goes to the employer and they get money also so they can get paid, or is it mainly for the child?
I think it could be either. It would go maybe to subsidize the providers.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So far, okay. Now, as new refugees are coming here, is there a place that they need to contact or people who they need to see for this type of program, for like what we're doing, especially for childcare? What would you say for those who are here and who are coming? How can they get involved in childcare, and what do they need to do?
Through Together West Michigan?
Yeah.
Yes. That would be if they're a member of a church, they can talk to the members of their church and see if there's interest in becoming a participating organization. You can find out more about Together West Michigan by going to the website, togetherwmi.com. They could probably message you through your YouTube or Facebook, because you are informed also about how to contact our organization.
Okay. How does a person become a member of Together West Michigan?
You have to be a part of an organization that becomes, yes.
Is it a must that or can your individual himself become?
You really have to have an organization with you, because we are a group of organizations, and we do have a small contribution that each organization makes towards Together West Michigan to help us pay for the actions that we're trying to do. So it would be difficult for an individual to do that on their own. It's
that's
good to
why
be a
we-
part of a group.
A group of people, okay, because strong together, basically.
That's exactly right.
Wow. I want to appreciate. I really do want to appreciate. There's a lot of questions that I had here that I wanted to tackle, but because due of time, I want to just ask this one last question that I have. Transportation.
Oh.
That's transportation. How big is that?
It's a problem for many people. When you're trying to get to a job, if you don't have a driver's license, the buses don't go everywhere. I've heard stories about people riding their bicycles to work in the wintertime, and it can be a real problem. So that's another area of interest that we'd like to look into and see. There are some bus lines that will go near to locations, but to get from your own house to your job can be a challenge. So that's another area we'd like to look into.
Wow. And are we expecting to hear something soon about that, or?
About transportation,
Yeah.
so many of these issues and problems overlap. And we are working on employment issues, and I think that transportation will be a part of that conversation.
Well, Revival TV members, I hope you guys have been watching and listening what has been going on. We've heard a lot about transportation and what is going on in our community. I just want to let you know that if you have an organization and you are thinking about making a difference in your community, I really think you guys should check out Together West Michigan. You guys should really check out because they care. When our church joined Together West Michigan, I didn't understand it until we understood that the issues that they are tackling is the same issues that we're trying to tackle in our own church. And when I saw that and I saw the fire that was going in there, I said, I gotta join this movement. We gotta join. And good enough, our leaders in the church and our pastors said, let's do it. We took action. We went ahead, and I have not regretted at all. I've been to events. I've been to Arizona and teaching and training. It's been an amazing, amazing experience. So if you are here in Grand Rapids, matter of fact, do you have to be in Grand Rapids, or is it together? What is it? Many organizations that is part of
Well, Together West Michigan right now is primarily in the Kent County, Grand Rapids area. We would like to see more membership from the whole Southwest Michigan. But if you're living outside of Michigan, there are other organizations connected to IAF that they could, if you looked up IAF, you might be able to find one in your area.
I hope you understand that. If you look up IAF,
Industrial Areas Foundation.
Industrial Areas Foundation, you look that up on Google, and it will direct you to the person that you need to contact in your state if they do have it. And it is amazing. It's an amazing community to be in. Since we've been together with Michigan almost a year, I believe now, with our church. And we have not regretted. The love that we see, we get to see new people and new backgrounds of life. And I tell you, I've so appreciated. There's no words that I can put over being with Together West Michigan. I want to say to Allison, who has brought this thing together, I would probably say, here in Together.
She's our lead organizer.
She's our lead organizer. How is she as a boss? How would you say?
She's phenomenal.
She's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I can see that she really cares about.
does.
I think I should invite her to this table.
I think you should.
I think I should. Allison is our lead organizer. Fantastic woman. She's amazing. She's very amazing. Allison, if you're watching this, shout out to you for bringing this vision into this community. You are an amazing woman, and I hope that God gives you a long life. We are Restoration Community Church. We love you, and we appreciate everything that you're doing for the community, especially for the refugees community here in Grand Rapids. Any last words anything that you would want to tell our audience?
I would just say the same thing you said, Espoir. It's wonderful to be part of a community and to be working together to see things change for the better. When you're trying to do it by yourself, it's overwhelming. But when you're part of a group, there's power.
Yeah. That is true. That is true. Revival TV, we didn't get to all the questions that we have. But if you have a question that you want to ask Deborah, go ahead and comment there below. You can contact me personally, or you can contact on our Revival TV homepage. Write your comment, and then next time when we have comments, we'll invite her back here and we'll answer those questions. I know she wants to come back, and we will have her back, and maybe we can have the whole Together West Michigan right here in Revival TV so they can share a little bit about their experience. We didn't have no photos to share with you, but next time we will. As I always say, you can make your community better by doing the little thing. And this started just a little thing, just a little. And now it's become well known in our community. I thank you so much. I thank you for everybody for tuning in. Stay tuned at 4 o'clock. We're having another show here at Revival TV. You do not want to miss the one at 4 o'clock. God bless you, and thank you for today. Goodbye.
Tena umenipa maji yatokayo kwako, Bwana wangu, hakuna kama wewe. Wewe ni Alfa na Omega, mwanzo na mwisho. Bwana, nakimbilia kwako. Takatifu, Takatifu yawe ni wewe, ni wewe Yesu wangu, takatifu yawe ni wewe, takatifu Bwana, takatifu Bwana,